Hi, it's Jess here from Nigezza.co.uk. Thank you for joining me today. Today I've got a project that I made for the 3D paper trimmer blog hop, and the theme was vacation, and or holiday, as we say in the UK. So when I go on holiday, I collect all my memorabilia, tickets, postcards, maps, the tourist maps you get in hotels, all those things, so that I can scrapbook when I get home with the photos that I take. And I sometimes I take a little empty video case. I've still got loads of those. And sometimes I forget, and so I just like bung it in some sort of packaging that I get when I'm away. Sometimes those little see-through bags you get at the airport, and they get stuffed in. And every year I think I ought to do something really a little bit more special for them. So that's what I've come up with, a little sort of folder. So this is sort of like a prototype that I sort of put together with some retired products. So it's just a little envelope. It can expand. It's just like a Concertina file that can expand. So I've got lots of ribbon there. And this is I put in the stuff from my last holiday that I had. So these were just some things from the airport. I liked these. I thought these would make lovely little journaling cards in the album. So I kept a few of those. That's my luggage. Well, actually, it's my sister's luggage thing. I think we all had her name on, actually. She booked it, I'm not sure. That was the details about the flights. So I like to keep those. I don't know which bits I'm going to use from that in the album, but I just like keep it and use whatever. There's a few receipts from different purchases. I kept these were some gloves that we had to put on to go in the supermarket because it was it went in lockdown when we were there. And here's some face mask packet that we my sister's husband gave us all a face mask each to go over. We didn't know we were going in lockdown, but he was like, just take it. The world is getting this disease, so take it. And actually we went in lockdown, so it was quite useful. We flew with Jet2, who were brilliant and brought us back. Despite grounding all their flights the day after we arrived, they were still going out and flying us back. We played bingo when we were on holiday. So yes, so you get the picture. Collect lots of things. There isn't very much in this holiday because we was then grounded. So there's my boarding pass to come home. So we didn't actually have very much memorabilia there. There was a beautiful bag from a gift shop that I thought that would be a lovely pocket in my journal. So so that's what I did. I've just used envelopes and I stuck it all the way to the bottom, so it's sort of like a file like that. So that's quite easy to use when you're making your album. And then when I've made it, I then can reuse this on my next holiday, was what I thought. So and that just slips around there, quite nice and neat. And if you do several holidays a year, which I do tend to, then they'd look quite nice sitting on a shelf until you're doing it. I then made another one much the same way, but what I did was I didn't do the envelopes all the way down. I only stuck these halfway, so this will open up like that and sort of stand a bit better than the other one. The other one was attached at the bottom, so it did that. So I thought I kind of preferred this, and I'm using this just for some embellishments. There's the one of the journaling cards I made. I've got some old stamps there. I've got some die cuts when I make too many die cuts, and then I've got some printables that I've sort of made vintagey, ready for a journal. So this was, I thought you could use it as an ephemera holder as well. These are envelopes that I've made and previously done videos on, which I can use in my holiday journals, especially when I'm using old maps, which would be a great way of covering one of these, would be to cover it in old maps as well. But I'm not going to do that this time. I can imagine me making lots of these. So I used 5 envelopes that went with 5x7 cards for that one. For this one, I'm going to use some so A4 envelopes. I've got 6 of them and I'm going to cut them in half. So this one will be bigger because I'm going to use this to organise all my memorabilia from last year's holiday when we went to America. And we went for 2.5 weeks. We had a little trip to Canada whilst we were there to see the falls and to look up where my father-in-law used to live with my mother-in-law, and actually where Ed would have been conceived. I kept saying we're going to like your conception place, which is quite exciting. I was more excited than he was. So I thought I'm going to use this World of I'm going to say World of Good. What's it called? World of Good. It is called World. I remembered correctly. So I got this paper specifically to do my holiday scrapbook. And what is exciting about this map is on this bit, it's got where I live. Oh, and then like the rest of Europe. And then on another map, I love this because I like the vintage look. Got nice sort of globy stuff. Quite like that. Don't know why I showed that because the others, that's because I turned it round. And so I thought I could use some of this to decorate the envelope, make it pretty, and then I'll use the rest in my scrapbook. And on this one here, what's exciting about this is it shows some of the places that we visited on our trip, and I won't be able to find them now, but there was some places. We've got Iceland there actually, which we have visited before, but there were some other places on here that we visited and I can't see them right now. Oh yeah, there's Florida. We didn't do that in this trip, but we have done it. But yeah, there's other places. We went to New York, we went to Philadelphia, we went to Washington, and then we went up to upstate New York near Rochester, where my nephew lives, and visited all around there, which was lovely. So yeah, that's the lovely papers, and they've also got some memories and more cards, which are perfect for scrapbooking and doing your holidays. I'm thinking I might use that as the attachment, and then that can use that. I sort of picked out these 3 as possibles. I also liked that as well. And there's just some gorgeous cards, all sort of related to travel. So there's these bold ones, and then you've got, oh, that's bold. And then you've got like ones where you can write journaling. So I do like, and then stickers. I do like to take little journaling cards with me on holiday, and I like every sort of couple of days to sort of sit down and write a memory, and then it's like a fresh memory, so it's ready then. And so these sort of envelopes are perfect for adding a few of these before you go, and then you can write on them. And I do that when we go on sort of girly holidays as well, so I get everybody to write a little bit, you know, today was a great day, and write why. What did you do? Well, we visited the White House, or we went to see the Lincoln Memorial. I stood where Martin Luther King stood, and I have to say my eyes got a bit wet. I got a little bit emotional. It was a really poignant moment, and it was just amazing to look down the mall. I just absolutely loved it. So those memories I want to capture. Absolutely love Washington. I can't begin to tell you. New York used to be my favourite city in the world, but now I think it's Washington. So this is the lovely faux suede ribbon, which I think would be beautiful to hold this together. And then I might use some of these. So these are the little embellishments. So we've got the corner pieces, which I thought I might use on the flaps of my little memory folder. And then we've got the little fastenings, so I think I might be using these as well. Anyway, that's enough waffle. Let's just get on and make it, shall we? I might do a little bit of warning at the beginning that if you want to go over all the waffle and just get to the make, then fast forward to however many minutes it is. Okay, so let's get all these out of the way and let's do the basic construction before we start the decorating. So we have these envelopes. So these are sort of UK A4 envelopes. So this is centimetres. That's 33.5 centimetres. And that's about 23 centimetres. Don't normally work in centimetres, so let's have a little look and see what it is in inches. This will be the mucky side that I've turned over for a reason. So if we're looking in inches, this one is 12.75 of an inch by 9 inches. Now imagine if you're not in a country that has standard A4, then you will have envelopes that your big pieces of paper go in. Use that, and all I'm going to do is cut them in half. So what did I say they were? 12.75, so that'll be 6 3/8 basically, won't it? 6 3/8. 1 2 3 4 5 6 3/8. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to do. First of all though, I'm gonna stick this bit down because we want it closed. So I'm just gonna, these are what I like about this as well is I am I'm going to stick that upside down so the glue goes all the way to the bottom. I'm repurposing and recycling, which is always good to do. You could buy new ones. I just had a load of these that I had addressed for a mail out, and I didn't mail out. That glue has gone underneath. Get that off. Stick that down. Okay. Okay. So now we'll get our trimmer, and I said 6 3/8, didn't I? Which is 1 2 3, which is just that edge. I'm going to have to swing this up because this stops at 6. So what you could do, which I think I am going to do, saves me the worry about getting it wrong. Put those 2 edges together and just pinch, and that tells me where to go. That'll be half. There. So I chose to do 6. I was going to do like 7, so it was like 1 for every day if you were on holiday, but stuck with an even number. Now I have sharpied over the addresses of this just because it's on camera, so there is a little bit of black come through, but I'm not worried about that at all. I'm going to choose, I don't think I've got a single one where that won't notice on, not that it matters. There, that one, I might use that one on the front and leave that one on the back, so the front and the back don't have got sort of smoothie bits. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm going to find the center point, so I might just give a little bit of a pinch there, and then I'm just going to go about halfway, sort of put my finger up there, that'll do, and I'm just going to put a bit of glue from there all the way up there. I'm using a strong glue, So this is Tombow. Could use a bit of tape if you wanted. And so just a 1/4 of an inch, that's about a centimetre, or 1/2 an inch, about a centimetre sort of gap there. And then just glue it together. Like so. So the envelopes ends will come out like that, but we've got it stuck there. So we're going to go again there. Going to put my finger, don't know why I put the lid back on that, and then we're going to go up. So it's just a bit of a judgment as to where the half is. You can measure if you want to be really precise, but I'm not bothered. Really imprecise measurements, because it does depend on the envelopes that you use. But the other ones were envelopes that came down like that, so basically it went from the bottom of the triangle bit of the envelope, and judged it from there. So there we go. That is that, and they will, I'm just checking that the oozing isn't going to make them all stick together, so wiping some of that oozing off. And there we have lots of room there for my holiday goodies. And this is a good way as well of sort of sorting out. We had distinct parts to our trip, so I could sort out all the New York bits and then scrapbook that, and then sort out all the Philadelphia bits and scrapbook that, and then the Washington bits, scrapbook that. And then when we went to Rochester, scrapbook that, and our trip to Niagara, and then the wedding. We were over there for a family wedding, and then I can do the wedding bit. And so this will help me to be organised with scrapbooking that. So now I want to make it look pretty, as if I was getting it ready for the holiday. So let's give it a measure. So I actually bought this when I went on my American trip. I went in Michael's, Joanne's, Hobby Lobby. I was so excited. So this it's 9 inches wide, and it is 6.5 inches long. So I'm going to cut. What I did for these ones was I covered the entire bit, so this would be 9 and 6.5, but that means I'd have to use 2 sheets. I actually used this with 1 sheet, and the offcut from these two did the flap, and that's kind of what I'd like to do. But if I go up to 6, I'm going to so I could trim these down to 6, and then I can just cut my paper in half, and then I've got it. Or I could give it a bit more stability, and I could put some cardstock on this to make it thicker, because this, you know, it's not too bad. This was specialty paper, but if I'm going to take this on holiday, so I might do that. So I might get some cardstock and then mat this on the cardstock, in which case I can do it 6 inches wide. So I was going to use Early Espresso, but I've only got 2 sheets of it. And so I need to add that to my next order. What I've decided is I've cut Whisper White, so it was actually 6 3/8 by 9, And I'm going to use, I'm going to blend ink all around the edge, which I actually think would give quite a nice effect if I'm going to matte this to it, that this looks all a little bit sort of blended as well. So I'm going to get a bit of grid mat that I've already used for blending on, and I'm using one of these makeup brushes that do blend really well, and I'm just gonna come in so I'm quite liking that, and I think that works really well. Yeah, so I'll get on and do the other one, and then we can cut up our paper. So that's the two pieces cut ready, and they will go on the front and on the back. So I need to cut my sheet to matte, and I am going to use this sheet. Quite like it. A bit sort of sad in a way to cut into it. I've got a friend of mine who just like cuts into a paper willy-nilly, and well, not willy-nilly, you know, full projects, and I just go, oh, love that, I'm still stroking my paper, and she's like, get it cut, woman. So here I go, Karen, this is for you. I've cut it in half. so I've gone 6 inches, so that'll be on there like so. So it is a bigger margin than I normally get, so I've gone down 3/8 of an inch. So this is 9 inches wide, so I'm going to go down 3/8 of an inch so that the margin is the same all the way round. So 1/8, 2/8, 3/8. There we go. So that's 8 5/8. So that gives us the same margin on the sides as we've got on the top and the bottom, like so. And I'm wondering that I might ink round these edges. That would be cool, wouldn't it? So there we are with my early espresso spongy daubler, and I'm just going to take that round the edges, and then that will blend nicely then into the matted or the blended mat that I've created. And I think when you've taken some time to make something so lovely, it will make it an even bigger joy to put together. So let's see how that looks. Yeah, so that sort of merges nicely and gives a better look than if it hadn't been inked. I can see the difference. Yeah, so I'll do the other one. There you are. So that's them both inked, so we just need to stick them down. So I'm going to use my favourite glue here. So then we now need to just stick them onto the front and back of the Concertina file folder. So that is that bit done. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's quite large. Does stand up. So that's quite cool. So now we need a cover for it, and it needs to go over. So I'm going to use another piece of Whisper White, which I'll link around the edges, and kind of give it a little bit of a flap on the back to then come over. So I think that'll be I think that'll work out quite well. That's what I did with this. So I stuck about an inch. Yeah, I stuck an inch there and left the rest for coming over. So I just need to cut that down to the right size, and that was 9 inches. So we'll cut 9 inches across, and we'll keep it the width. So it's 8 1/4 for us. It'll be 8 1/4 long for us, 8 1/2 if you're in other parts of the world. And what I did was I sort of did some scoring, although I'm probably going to cover this, but so that it would curl. So I sort of went every 1/8 of an inch and did a score mark. So that it would have like a folded, it would be easy to sort of curve over. So that's what I did on these. You can see that has all been until the last sort of inch, so that it's got that rounded section there. But I'm actually going to cover this. So I've just inked both sides, and I was thinking about it, and I was thinking, oh, we're going to see the underside. So I cut another section of the envelopes because I had some other spare ones, and so that means that that's on the inside and it sort of matches, and I thought that would look quite good. And then I got my journaling card, which can be on the front as the closure, so I cut a bit of Whisper White and did that. So I've cut these are 3 by 4, so that's 3 1/4 by 4 1/4, and then I cut a bit of envelope again to go on the other side, so when it's open it all matches. And I will sandwich the ribbon on there. With these I used a couple of circles and a brad, but I thought I'd tuck the ribbon under this, and then actually I need a circle and a brad sort of closure on here, don't I? Oh, not thought about that. If I'm going to do, if I'm just going to put ribbon under there. Oh yeah, I was just going to put it around and tie it. That was what I was going to do. I knew I had an idea in my head. So yeah, so these bits need preparing. Oh, and I just need to ink round the edges. There we are. So now we just need to stick these down. So that's all nicely stuck, both sides. So I want to do the score lines. I'm going to use my scoreboard for quickness. I'm going to make sure I'm doing it the right way around. I don't want to score in the wrong place. So yeah, so we want to do the score lines that way. So I'm probably going to put 1.5 inches down the back. So we'll start there 1.5 inches and go every 1/8. There we go. So that will fold over quite nicely, and you could sort of reinforce it by going over on the back as well. And then you can see by doing that, it's now bending really nicely to make a nice sort of top to that. I did think at the time of when I was sticking this, that because this is quite thin, that maybe using a glue stick as well would have been a good idea. But actually, I quite like it. Quite like the effect. It doesn't bother me. So I don't think I've got a preference to which is the front and which is the back on this. So I'm going to stick that down the back. I think that's the longer way. I did on the other two round these corners, but I'm not going to round these because I didn't think about it, so I'm not going to round them, and that's the end of it. Now what's quite handy is it's got lines on it, so I can see a line on there to go down, and it is about 1.75 inches down. So I'm gonna go from there, so a little bit above where I did that score line. So there we go. Looking for the line I am matching it up to. Check it on this side. There we go. I do get an awful lot of satisfaction about making these sort of things myself rather than buying something. I like the fact that that all sort of matches. I do appear to have used a mixture of envelopes. I thought they were all from the same packet, but I think that adds to the appeal as well. So that's got room to expand quite nicely there. Bulging with goodies from holiday. So what we need to now is we're gonna stick that on. Now, do we want to do that or that? Could do it that way, couldn't I? Stick that down and then stick that on there. Or have it like that. I don't actually think it matters. I might stick the ribbon to the back bit and then you're not going to see it so much. So I shall glue this down. Dream big. That's what I was doing with this project. It's I think it's always a little bit noticeable when you're making a little bit up as you go along, but I hope you don't mind that. Hear me brain ticking as we're going. I did know where I wanted to go, just not always know what my intention is on how to get there. So we are going to stick that under there so that it can wrap around. And I want it to wrap around when it's expanded, and then to tie a little bit of a knot. So cut it about there, and that's the thing to do, is give yourself plenty. Now this is 20 inches. Yeah, pretty much got 40 inches there. No, that's 80 centimetres, 32 inches is about what I've done. So I want that to stick on there, and I want it to be held down quite well. So I'm gonna put a bit of fast fuse in this centre. Work out where the centre is. Let's be a little exact here. So we are 9 inches, so we go to 4.5. So the centre's about there. Can't see if I put some on there. I did. So yeah, and then I'm going to get some tear and tape, and I'm going to put that over the top, and then I know it really is well and truly stuck down. And then we need to stick that on the back there. Yeah, so we didn't actually need to have it the same size, but I did it anyway. And I am liking the fact that the inside all looks a little bit like a cardboard box. Like the old-fashioned file folder we had when we were kids. We had this file folder that just had everything. Mum and Dad put all the documents in there. It was like our birth certificates. I presume their marriage certificate would have been in there. Mortgage details, insurances, everything. I've got one myself. I did the same thing. I learnt to keep all documents in one place. Quite like that. And that looks nice in that position for when it's cold. Does look like a little bit like an old-fashioned attaché case. Sort of idea I was going for. So we want to make sure we glue just that side. There we go. So that is going to wrap around like so, and then my idea was I was just going to let it knot a bit. Now I was thinking of using some of our little elements here to decorate the edges. So these are just decorative edges. They're not edge protectors as such. You can get some of these that cover the whole corner, but these are just embellishments on it. And I'm thinking I won't use that, because if this is going to be something that's going to travel with me, I think they might fall off. So don't want that. I think I might just put this buckle on. And then that gives me something to slip through and not me end. Like so. So that is my little holiday file folder for collecting all my memorabilias, and then something that can sit on my desk until, because it will stand up when it's got stuff in. It will stand up. In fact, let's put some stuff in so we can see, because I've got all those memories and more cards, which I'd probably take with me on holiday for writing in. There we go. Life is an adventure. Stick that in there. Let's get them all so that it's got something in. We've got a few cards. We'll bung in as if we've collected tickets and things on holiday, and maps and postcards, boarding passes, little maps, things that we've written on. And there you can see it's and you can see it will stand up. She says as it falls over, but it will stand up a little bit to help you. And then it'll just be something that'd be quite nice to have in your hotel room while you're on holiday to help you keep all your little memorabilia, remind you to write little memories whilst you're away that you can look back on. Very nice to do with children. I've got from our first trip to Disney when the kids were quite young. Well, they were like 8 and 14 first time we went. So seeing what an 8-year-old wrote was lovely. Even the 14-year-old actually. There we go. That's my little portfolio. File folder. Love it. Hope you like that. I say you can make them different sizes. It just depends on your envelope. You could choose to fasten it this way as well. I just wanted to use that card. So there we are. Different ways of doing it, and you can glue it all the way to the bottom of the envelope as well, whichever you decide. Okay, so I hope you like that. I hope that wasn't too sort of all over the place, thinking, you know, where's she going? I was sort of thinking on my feet, but yeah, pleased how that turned out, and that'll look lovely on my junk journal table as well. Very, very vintagey. So yeah, now I've broken the duck with that paper, I can now make other things. Okay, so all the details will be over on nigezza.co.uk, and as many measurements as I can get. I say it does depend on your envelopes, and a few more pictures. And if you fancy taking a look at the rest of my sort of junk journaling thing, I've got a playlist, so you can look up junk journal and my first junk journal as well, and you'll be able to see all the things that I've made for that. Okay, see you again soon. Bye bye. Oh, and I'll link to the blog hop as well, so go and have a look what everybody else has done for the holiday theme vacations.